Hello, everybody. So today we're going to be reading Your Devotion Slasher's Ex-Listener, Book 2. So basically we are currently in Chapter 52, but we're going to go back a chapter for the purpose, of the recap. So basically, we're currently in the dream world, we were currently in the dream world with, Freddy being a little frisky, if you know what I'm saying, a little frisky. And I'm so sorry. And then later on, when we woke up, I remember at our friend's house, Cadence. They ended up going to the campus. We ended up meeting our other, technically our quote unquote other friends, the two guys. Completely forgot their names though. But basically, we met up with the two guys that are in cinematography. Blah 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 blah. We kept talking to them and everything like that. Hold on, let me keep going. Yeah, it's Stu and Billy. Excuse me, Stu and Billy, and they mentioned about like this hickey you have, created by Freddy. He ended up not erasing it. That you came to find out, and she was like, "You didn't have that, earlier." And then we had to be like, "Oh my God, look at the time! Don't we need to get to school class?" Basically, just having to go yeet yeet. I'm gone. To kind of not get so they didn't get so suspicious and stuff like that. But it was kind of like, oh shit. But anyways, now we are officially in Chapter 52, Midday Classes. "Glad you actually made it to class this time around," Rose wryly remarked, nudging your side with a hint of mischief whilst you sat down at your desk and took out your textbooks. Hey, of course I made it to class this time around," you exclaimed quickly, hiding your embarrassment as Amber and Laura also sat down at their desks. "At least now I won't have to constantly share my notes with you for upcoming tests and exams," she commented with raised eyebrows, her sarcasm shining through while the professor entered the classroom. "I just had household problems to deal with, that's all, Rose Wyen, if you please," your teacher calmly called out, her clear tone causing you both to apologize and flip open your textbooks to the specific page. Obviously, you didn't mean to get Rose called out, but you hadn't noticed that the class was about to commence. So, hoping that she wasn't too annoyed by you, you shot a glance towards her, breathing a sigh of relief when she simply smiled and shook her head. Thank goodness. Rose and Cadence were both such good friends. Hopefully, Amber and Laura would be chill with you bringing lunchtime with you during lunchtime, as well as Cadence. Billy and Stu, however, they acted so strange earlier. From waiting so early at the university's front gates, ignoring Cadence just to greet you in particular, and noticing the love bite almost immediately. Something was definitely up with those two. With a soft sigh, you spin your pen between your thumb and forefinger, barely being able to keep your focus as you struggle to note down significant points and crucial information. Psychology. It was a good thing you started to study said subject, though. Otherwise, you would never have been able to pick up on your partner's sneaky strategies to secretly seduce you in the first place. But still, thinking back to when you accidentally bumped into Hannibal, dropped all of your books, and when you baked cupcakes together with Norman, those different, yet oddly amusing memories were definitely enjoyable things to think about. In fact, you were having so much fun reminiscing that you only just managed to jot down essential points and vital explanations, not even taking notice of Mikael while you became almost fully spaced out. And here, I thought you'd actually pay attention during class today. Rose sighed in a fake disappointment, rolling her eyes once the morning class had finished up for lunch. I was. You retaliated wildly, shoving your textbooks into your bag before standing up and pushing your chair in. My notes are sure to help me pass by the end of the year exam now. Just you wait and see. When? Cadence quickly, Cadence kindly chipped in, tapping your shoulder and catching your attention. I hate to burst your bubble, but, maybe you should compare your notes to hers? Following her advice, your eyes flickered from your desperate scrawls to Rose's, her professional and neat paragraphs outshining yours without a single doubt. Yeah, you're totally scraping the barrel there. Amber snickered devilishly, holding her mouth as Laura sadly smiled. At least I don't always go to raves and have to retake my courses, you fired back with a firm retort, shutting your notebook closed before pushing it straight into your bag. Wyan, I really wouldn't start. Yeah, well, at least I don't vanish off the face of the earth and have to rely on Rose for help. The dark-haired girl responded smugly, her smirk implying that she was just messing about and not intentionally being mean. At least I don't have to repeatedly reject multiple guys and feel bad about it. At least I have multiple guys to reject in the first place. Oh, please. As if I'd even want that many guys to reject. You guys are truly hopeless. Laura sighed with a facepalm, forcing you to both quit it and playfully call it even. Hey, Rose, want to join us for lunch in the cafeteria today? You offered warmly, trying your best to be kind towards her. Eating with us might be fun, not to mention it would give us a break from Amber's constantly annoying and arrogant attitude. I will end you. Amber huffed lightheartedly, elbowing you in the side while she purposely pushed past you. You understand me? Oh, I understand you. You angelically spoke, shooting her a smirk of your own as you walked to the classroom's door with the others. I understand you perfectly. As much as I'd love to hang out with you guys, I have to say no for today. Rose shyly declined, showing you all a remorseful smile before leaving your group of friends and the university grounds altogether. That's strange. Laura contemplated curiously, staring after Rose and mulling over her fast rejection. That's the fourth time she said no or had something else to do. What's so strange about that? You wondered, not understanding why Laura was so puzzled by Rose's actions. Maybe she just doesn't feel like it? Perhaps. Laura thoughtfully mused, the four of you heading towards the cafeteria to get some food. Rose just seems to be a little more stressed out than usual, you know? She does seem a tiny bit busier. Cadence added uneasily, picking up a food tray and heading over to the choice of meals. It's probably just family stuff, you guys. Amber casually dismissed, doing the same as Cadence in grabbing a tray. She probably doesn't want us to pry. You're being unusually considerate, you noted dryly, also taking a tray and moving over to the left. You're usually the first person to interfere to try or find out what's going on. Well, it's just I don't really want a repeat of last time. Stumbling over her words, Amber's proud personality faded, replaced by an oddly anxious one and causing an awkward atmosphere to develop instead. I wonder what she found out. For God's sakes. Oh yeah, and then this is the part where basically, long tales ago, you guys argued and you separated from your friend group. You ended up meeting Pennywise and etc. etc. Anyways, oh, I see. Well, don't worry, you kindly replied, sending Amber a comforting smile before you got all your food and sat down at your usual table. Like I said, that was mostly my fault. My stress levels were no excuse to lash out at you guys. Besides, we all are friends, aren't we? That's true, we are. Cadence agreed with a sweet smile of her own, the tension between you all swiftly dying out and calming down. Anyway, I think we've all grown since then. Exactly, so hey Wyan, what's up? Two voices called in unison, both of them ignoring and interrupting Laura as it carelessly approached the table. Oh, hey you guys, Laura muttered irritably, hiding her slight annoyance while she watched Billy and Stu take a seat either side of you. Good afternoon, you two. You pleasantly greeted, flashing them a polite smile while you attempted to hide your previous shyness from earlier. How were classes this morning? Oh, same as usual. Stu answered with a nonchalant shrug, crossing his arms as he focused on talking to you rather than eating. Tedious, though. Tolerable. We were more worried about you, though. Billy cut into the conversation with a concerned stare, his serious posture throwing you off and making you feel bashful. So it was rather difficult to concentrate. You two were worried about me? You repeated hesitantly, confusion clouding your face and causing you to carefully put down your coultery. I don't understand. Why would you both be worried about me? Is something wrong? Did something else happen? The unwanted admirer. You still haven't caught them yet. Stu stated sternly, narrowing his eyes as you stiffened up in shock. You or your roommates. This bitch. Let me this bitch. Oh my gosh. Chapter 53. Call Me Maybe? I want to sing the song so bad. Copyright. But you guys know that song I can't say it because they're gonna copyright me. Anyways, it's only been one day. It's no big deal. You awkwardly stuttered, your cheeks glowing a light pink while you just tried to stay calm. My roommates are doing their best, so please don't worry about it. Being stalked is still pretty serious, though, YN, regardless if it's only one day. Cadence commented with concern, Amber and Laura both dipping their heads in agreement. You haven't even informed the authorities. Billy pointed out uneasily, the dark-haired male sounding moderately unhappy about your current decision. You haven't? Amber worriedly echoed, her agitated thoughts shining through as she clasped her hands together against the table. Why not? Are your roommates stopping you from doing so or something? You really should, Stu sternly interjected, his firm behavior throwing you off and forcing you to feel even more bashful. It's not safe. Who knows what they could be planning? He's right, YN. Cadence sided with him in a troubled tone, her expression becoming concerned herself while she finished eating. It could be only a matter of time before they decide to actually attack or make a move. What do you propose I do then? You spoke stressfully, running a hand through your hair before looking at your group of friends. My roommates aren't on very good terms with the authorities, so I can't exactly inform the police either. I have an idea. Billy mentioned swiftly, his sudden remark causing you all to stare at him in bewilderment. Oh, what's on your mind? You curiously questioned, not expecting him to come up with a suggestion so quickly. Why don't we all exchange numbers? He recommended lightly, his plan making your eyes widen with surprise. Wait, what? You explained in alarm, biting your lip and wondering how your so-called roommates would react. It sounds like a good plan to me. Stan calmly agreed, giving Billy a firm nod before shooting you a soothing smile. Whoa, now wait just a minute. You protested unhappily, slamming your hands down on the table before standing up. What's the problem? Laura quietly wondered, not understanding why you were so upset over Billy and Stu's idea. Well, it's just that my roommates, they don't really like you all knowing our exact address or location. Stumbling over your words, your stress levels rose, not knowing how to fix your situation or pacify their curiosity. Not to mention, I've only known you both for a couple days. You'd rather be in extreme danger and face multiple stalkers than just give us your phone number? Billy summarized suspiciously, frowning at your decision and making you even feel more unsure. Wait, there's more than one? Amber exploded in a panicked tone, clutching either side of her head and losing her composure quicker than you had. You can't be serious, YN. Laura responded fiercely, looking distressed while she tried to comfort your dark-haired friend. Why didn't you tell us? Well, gripping your fist, you held back tears and wondered on what on earth to say. Should you tell them the truth? Should you tell a tiny white lie? God damn it! What would help you out the most here? Because she didn't know until a day or two out beforehand. Stu answered on your behalf, helping you out and standing by your side. After all, her roommates didn't tell her the truth until Thursday evening, right? Well, yes, but wait, how did you even know that? Narrowing your eyes, you grew even more suspicious, your trust in Billy and Stu slowly fading while you flashed them each a doubtful glance. Like we said a day or two ago, word spreads quickly. Billy nervously remarked, sending Stu a quick glare as he attempted to gloss things over. This isn't a very large town, and people will never stop talking. I suppose, but still, you answered anxiously, looking towards your friends for help and wondering what to do. They've only informed me. So how on earth did you two learn about it so quickly? Yeah, that is kind of weird, you guys. Laura sided with you coolly, starting to frown while she also found their words to be somewhat strange and unusual. I just think that it wouldn't hurt to have a helping hand or two on deck, you know what I'm saying? Billy continued with a tremendous amount of desperation, the other boy dipping his head as a nod and agreeing almost immediately. But you barely know me, you responded with a bewildered tone, shifting from side to side, and sending them each a curious expression. I'm sorry, but how can I know that I can possibly trust? You're right. You can't fully trust us. At least, not 100%. But wouldn't it be worth a shot? At least until the unwanted admirers fuck off and give you a breath of fresh air? Stu replied softly, his odd spurt of compassion throwing you off and making you feel weirdly guilty for some reason. Come on, YN. Are numbers really that much to ask for? Billy pleadingly pressed, pushing the matter even further as you begin to bite your lip. Overprotective boyfriend, and then this is just the background of basically them being a little bit too picky, like they're picking at information and saying information that they shouldn't really know. And then it's just that. I didn't think you guys would be so serious about getting my number. You mused aloud thoughtfully, thinking back to their previous actions and questioning what exactly was the right thing to do. Then again, I suppose it would be helpful to have someone to fall back on, just in case. Exactly. It's not that huge, YN. Taking Billy's and Sue's side, Amber agreed with them instead, shooting you a confused glare and waiting for your response. I don't know. I'm sort of in the middle. Cadence decided in a stressed-out fashion, still sitting down while she came to her own conclusion. On one hand, I can totally see where Ryan's coming from, but on the other hand, I can agree with Billy, Stu, and Amber about trading phone numbers, too. Why don't we just do a trial run about it? Then, if you still don't trust us, you can call it off and we can reassess the situation. Billy planned with a respectful tone of voice, the kind-hearted boy taking you by surprise and calming you down. You know what? Sure. Giving in, you whipped out your mobile, and exchanged your phone number with them. Both males thanking you moments later with their voices filled with gratitude. See? Now, See? Now, was that so difficult? Amber cooed, giving you a cuddle from the side before she playfully poked your cheek. And now you got two cute boys to text just in case you grow bored. Laura joined in mischievously, stifling a laugh and sharing an amused look with Amber. Hey, I never said that they weren't cute. You defended yourself with flushed cheeks, moving over to the tray area and trying your hardest to hide your embarrassment. So you're saying they are cute. Joining your side, Amber grinned, finding your flustered state to be extremely entertaining, while she also placed her tray in the sink. Amber, you need to shut the fuck up, you sharply shot back, elbowing her in the side as you did your best to keep your composure. Duh, little Wyatt's all worked up. She laughed lightly, her grin spiraling into one of a smirk, while she shared a look with her two other friends. Amber, it's okay, cutie. You'll grow up one day. Amber promised with another laugh, wrapping her arms around your body again and acting condescending towards you. That's it. Oh my god. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Chapter 54. New stalking spot. Just ignore Amber from time to time. It's what I do. Cadence suggested in amusement, throwing you some handy advice once she'd also finished off her lunch for the day. Hey, don't give me help. Don't give me help. Amber wildly exclaimed, shoving the blonde in the side as the bell rang for class. Not mean when it's the truth. Blowing her a kiss, Cadence grinned, finding Amber's annoyance to be somewhat amusing. Come on, you guys. We're going to be late for class if we don't get a move on, you hurriedly noted, snatching up your bag before leaving the cafeteria and saying a quick goodbye to Billy and Stu. Why were you so against switching numbers with those two anyway? Laura inquired with a sharp frown, not understanding your hesitation while you bite your lip. No reason, really. You replied nervously, avoiding her glance as you started walking back to your classroom. Mostly because I was worried about how my roommates would react to them. Well, it's all done and dusted now, Cadence pleasantly pointed out, joining your side and trying her best to calm you down. I'm sure they'll be fine. After all, how threatening can two male students be? You'd be surprised, honey. Trust me when I say, I'm not looking forward to finding out the results after lessons end today. You sighed in despair, entering your classroom a couple seconds afterwards and taking your usual seat by the window. You're overthinking things, she spoke soothingly, her expression filled with comfort as she sat down next to you and took out her textbooks. They're just two boys. I suppose you have a point. You agreed with a quiet hesitation, still anxious about what would happen after class and what your roommates would think. Everything will work out. You'll see. Continuing to comfort you, Cadence sent you a kind-hearted smile. Her brown-colored orbs filled with warmth while she looked in your general direction. Believe me. Yeah, you're right. Smiling in response, you tried your hardest to keep your composure, taking out your textbooks, too, just as your professor entered the room. Then you fell silent. Your conversation with Cadence fading before your teacher noticed. You breathed out a sigh in relief once the lesson began. You started taking notes again, your messy scrolls improving slightly as you attempted to prove your friends wrong and make them look like roses. But alas, your plan failed. Your scribble swirling into shift bullet points due to noticing a familiar face standing by a tree. Mikael. God damn it. He was going to get himself caught one day. Especially now that Billy and Stu were taking note of every little thing going on in your life. They knew about the special offer. They knew about your roommates. They knew about the multiple stalkers. It was absolutely insane. Girl, then how do you not have the common sense enough to maybe think of them as they might be the potential stalkers? Girl, open your brain. Whatever it was, something wasn't right. So, once your last class had finished, you decided to demand answers from the two male students yourself. You, Amber, Laura, and Cadence meeting up with Billy and Stu at the university's entrance gates to discuss things. Though, for whatever reason, they were strangely open, discussing whatever you wanted and being totally honest. Actually, it was like they didn't have to hide anything. Their behavior, it completely threw you off. In the end, you would have continued this warm-hearted conversation by the gates if it wasn't for Mikael and Pennywise waiting for you within an unusual hiding place. Terribly sorry, guys, but I really have to go. You bursted out in alarm, panicking once you left your group of friends and got ready to say a quick goodbye. See you guys tomorrow? Yeah, catch you tomorrow. Cadence called after you with a surprised look. Amber and Laura both waving goodbye too. Mikael, Penny, what are you two doing so close to the campus grounds? You scolded the pair worriedly, engulfing your stalker in an alarmed embrace before doing the exact same thing with the dancing clown. It's not a safe spot, and you could have gotten caught. Well, maybe not Pennywise, but Mikael definitely. Where are we at? This is my new stalking spot. I can see you better from here, and it's closer to you. I missed you today. Mikael wrote possessively, his note overflowing with obsession once he passed it over to you. Duh, don't get mad at me, sweetie. Pennywise chipped in with a devilish amusement, returning your cuddle right after you gave him one. Today was pretty uneventful for me also. As a matter of fact, I actually missed you too. So come on, cut me some slack. Why should I? You sarcastically repeated, shaking your head and rolling your eyes at the same time. I'm not responsible for your or Miguel's reckless decisions. Fair enough. Penny grinned devilishly, instead giving your hand a subtle squeeze while Miguel swiftly echoed his actions. Well, why don't we just leave and go home before anybody picks up on Miguel's new stalking spot? You dryly decided, secretly enjoying the hand-holding and the thoughtful attention you were receiving. Again, not my don't even start, you childishly complained, nudging his side and purposely interrupting him. That joke is so old. While we're on the subject of my new stalking spot, who are those guys you were speaking to? They keep staring at us. Mikaela scribbled down next, bringing up the very subject you were afraid to discuss with everyone. Just some new transfer students, you timidly mumbled, growing scared and wondering how to continue this awkward conversation. They're, taking the cinematography course this year. Don't interact with them anymore. I don't like it. Their behavior is strange. I don't trust them, Mikael demanded darkly, his recent note causing chills to run down your back and make you feel weirdly unsafe. Mikael, he's got a point though, honey bun. The clownish killer joined in seriously, losing his taunting attitude and taking you by surprise. For all we know, those human boys could be the unwanted admirers we've been searching for. What? Bill and Stu? No way! You see how stupid we are at some points? You argued almost immediately, feeling oddly protective over them. Sure, they might act a little strange from time to time, but overall, a little strange. How so? Pennywise curiously asked, sharing a stern stare with Mikael before frowning in general. Well, it's difficult to explain, you told them with a troubled tone, feeling like you just thrown Billy and Stu under the bus and stirred up some unnecessary drama. Let's just get you back home, okay? Penny spoke firmly, snatching up your wrist and tugging you in the direction of your house within the woods. But that's not important. Pennywise cut you off coolly, his rough tone taking you by surprise and hurting your feelings. Don't you both think that you're overreacting just a little bit? You irritably retaliated, standing up for yourself and breaking free from the dancing clown's harsh grasp. No, I don't. Not in the slightest. We're going home. Now. Mikael's furious scrawl made you sigh, realizing that you weren't going to be able to change Mikael's mind or calm down Penny. They were only looking towards you two. After all, you don't exactly blend in, you pointed out fearfully, clasping both hands against your chest and facing the two slashers with unhappiness. So, nobody else was staring. Besides, they're still looking at us, see? Pointing, Pennywise faced the two students with a poisonous glare. Mikaela maliciously stared in their line of sight and standing as still as a statue. Following Penny's finger, you glanced forward. That was what was troubling them and froze, feeling more and more worked up by the millisecond. Why was that, though? Because not only Billy, but also Stu, were offhandedly staring at Mikael and Pennywise, the four of them all sharing some sort of cold-hearted glare with one another. Like, how do you, not notice this? I'm sorry, but ain't no way you don't notice that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way. Chapter 55. Everybody likes games. I'm sure they're just a little bit intrigued by your appearances, that's all, you awkwardly argued, wondering how to calm them down and soothe the situation. Let's just go home and meet up with the others. Forget about this whole thing. Nodding curtly, Mikael silently agreed. The pale-masked killer, disliking the male students tremendously, whilst Pennywise threw them a second glare, filled with malice. Then, the two slashers held your two hands again and walked you back home, clearly concerned for your safety as you swiftly struck up a shy conversation. You could tell that they were listening to you, but at the same time, they were definitely on edge about something. Their grip on your hand tight, while they flashed a tense look towards one another from time to time. Eventually, you reached the slasher house, the place sounding oddly quiet once you'd entered through the front door. Hello? Anybody home? You called out aloud, curiously curiosity flowing from your tone as you stepped into the living room and glanced around. Hannibal? Norman? They won't be back yet. Mikhail scribbled down with speed, carelessly shrugging after passing the note over to you. They won't be back yet. From what? Frowning, you put down the piece of paper that Mikhail had given to you and faced him properly, growing confused by his response. Did I forget something? Did they go out? Oh, they didn't tell you? My. How adorable. Penny cooed angelically, leaning against the doorframe and crossing his arms. And here I thought this relationship couldn't grow any more toxic. Mikhail shook his head and shoved him back into the hallway, warning the clown about something whilst you sighed, not wanting a fight to break out between them both. Don't start. You guys, tell me. Don't tell me. I just asked a question. That's all. So, where did Hannibal and Norman go? Pulling out his trusty notepad, the stalker began to write again, his stern thoughts taking a while to jot down as his emotionless gaze shone with unfeeling intent. This is long, sorry. Hannibal's taken Norman to the local hospital for his monthly checkup, and also taking his fake fit note. His fit note. Is that the medicine? Also to fake his fit note. Hannibal's the only one who can, otherwise Norman loses it completely. Okay. Oh, I see. You breathed in relief, feeling relatively reassured when Mikhail explained the states of affairs to you. So Hannibal's just accompanying Norman and make sure nobody finds out about you guys? Pretty much. Don't worry, though. They won't be back for a while. Mikhail bluntly responded, his unfriendly attitude not surprising you in the slightest. Oh, okay. With a polite nod, you accepted Mikhail's answers and flopped down against the living room sofa, exhaustion washing over your emotions unbelievably fast due to your previous worry in the forest. Well then, is there anything you guys want to do? I mean, aside from your unique interest. The golden-eyed male grinned creepily, his expression from one of light mischief to one of dark amusement. What's this? You want to play a game? Penny wickedly wondered, re-entering the room again before he sat down on one of the armchairs. You sound as if you like them, you stated wryly, smiling at the clown and shaking your head at his sudden excitement. Everybody likes games. Hiding his over-the-top enthusiasm, he pretended not to care and instead acted disinterested, though a smug smirk slid across his face seconds later. Yep, he definitely wanted to. Bet they do. You cheerfully agreed, amused by his bubbly behavior and playful mindset. So then, what kind of game would it be? Penny nonchalantly inquired, attempting to seem uncaring and unmoved by said subject, while your soft smile strengthened. Maybe a few rounds of I Spy? You suggested lightly, bringing up an easy one and hoping he'd heard of it. Too easy, the clown taunted with a teasing tone, his swift reply throwing you off and being strangely surprising. Well then, hide and seek? You smoothly decided, striking up another game idea and waiting for his opinion. Huh. He mused over it thoughtfully, still entertained by your seemingly enjoyable offer. Who would be finding who? We could take turns, you recommended with a pleasant voice, feeling your own enjoyment rise as you joined in properly. And what if you don't find me? Chuckling darkly, Pennywise vanished, reappearing a moment later in the middle of the room and already acting ignorant. If I can't find you, I'll let you feed off my fear for a little while. I'll let you scare me for the entirety of tomorrow, you announced courageously, changing the prize and making the stakes more dangerous on your side. Risky. The killer clown deceitfully commented, his smirk spreading as he considered your proposition. But I like it. So, what are the rules? Let's see. We have 5 minutes to hide. The time limit to find said person during their round is 10 minutes. Does that sound fair to you? You clarified, shooting him a genuine smile before approaching him in the middle of the living room. Any other requirements then, sweetheart? Pennywise pushed teasingly, his particular happiness overflowing while he affectionately wrapped his arms around you. Other requirements? You blankly echoed, a faint shade of pink coloring your cheeks after the clown hugged you with so much extra care. Well, what happens if you somehow manage to beat me at our little game? What happens if you somehow manage to win a round or two, Penny questioned smoothly, finding your bashfulness to be not only adorable, but now alluring and attractive too. If I somehow manage to come out on top, I want Cadence, Laura, Amber, and Rose to be safe from you, and the others' antics. You ordered forcibly, your demands startling Pennywise and making Mikael tilt his head with complete and utter bewilderment. Yes, I know, you continued in a fiercely fashion, placing one hand on your hip and clenching your other hand into a fist. Either you, Mikael, or Freddy have been stressing Rose out and causing our family to suffer too. If I win, I want it to stop. Got it? You haven't blamed the psychiatrist, Voorhees, or Norman, Penny cleverly retorted, his childish complaint causing you to roll your eyes before raising your eyebrows. Hannibal doesn't think like that. Jason's too busy protecting Crystal Lake, and if you think I'm going to believe that Norman's the one behind Rose's problems, then you've got another thing coming. You fired back fiercely, thinking with common sense and trying your hardest to protect your clever friend. I suppose you have a point there. All right, then. I agree. Pennywise gave in with another one of his creepy grins, finding your sharp tongue to be funny. How about you, Mikey boy? Want to play with us? I could always find you. Curious to see how Mikael would answer, your eyes shifted over to the silent stalker, stifling a laugh when you witnessed him simply stare at the clown with a "Are you serious?" glare of strong annoyance. You saw that coming a mile away, then. Well then. Are you ready, cutie? You're on. Why didn't we make any other rules? Like, you can't use your powers. But he'd probably cheat anyway, but it'd still be there. Like, there should be a fucking contract. Chapter 56. Hide and Seek. Well then. Who would like to hide first? Pennywise hummed playfully, his slyness fading slightly due to him becoming more and more excited. How about you hide first? You offered with a smug smile, already knowing that this was over. After all, there's never been a single game of hide and seek that you hadn't won. The hiding place has to be inside or around the house. Oh, and you can't use your powers to help you out, because that would be far too overpowered. There we go. I like that. Seeing your point, the mischievous slasher dipped his head as a nod and let you pull out your phone, the timer being set to a total of 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1. You carefully counted, glancing down at and saying, "Go!" A second later, then you quickly clicked, giving him more than enough time to select a comfortable hiding spot and beat you. But strangely enough, the dancing clown just slowly walked out of the room, his previous ignorance returning as you cautiously waited with Mikael. Once the 5 minutes were up, however, you swiftly switched it to 10 minutes and struck up your search, your competitive mindset taking over while you grew unusually determined. You had to win both rounds in order for Rose to stay safe. You had to. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That should be more than enough to find Penny, shouldn't it? You asked Mikael firmly, tucking your phone back in your pocket and deciding to check the ground floor first. The silent male nodded, staying behind you as he did his best to support you. Then you noticed him scribble something down, his actions fast and untidy. More than enough. This house may be big, but most of the spaces within it are open and wide. That won't work in his favor. Be careful, though. Be careful? What? Why? You repeated it with a frown, not understanding Mikael's sudden worry. Afraid he'll try and cheat? I don't think the clown will try to cheat. He has too much pride. But still, he's clever, cunning, crafty. For all we know, he could pull a sneaky maneuver such as slowly walking out of the living room and then sneak back in again to hide when we weren't looking. Mikhail wrote once you'd finished checking the cellar. The first floor's kitchen, the dining room, the library, and behind the front door. You're right. You thought aloud, taking his words into account which you considered what Penny might have done. But then again, he could always want us to think that, but then done something as simple as hide upstairs. True, that would be a smart move. But are you really, truly willing to lose time? After all, you only gave yourself 10 minutes, and besides, he could be outside. Mikhail's next scrawl made you become somewhat cautious, whipping out your phone and checking the time you had remaining, 7:35. You said more than enough time, you stubbornly answered, feeling unusually confident after swallowing your nerves. I got this. Trust me. I think he'll either be somewhere upstairs or outside the house. For some reason, I just don't think he'll have doubled back when I glanced back down on my phone and switching the time. Alright, 7 minutes and 37 seconds is plenty enough time to check the rest of the house and look outside. I believe in you, Ian. I love you. Mikhail wrote in response, his adoration shining through as you blushed an embarrassed shade of scarlet. I love you too, but now's not the time. Stammering, you passed the piece of paper back to him and pushed him past him, heading outside and started your search for Pennywise once again. Not in the garden, not in the shed, not in the garage, not in the conservatory. Damn, where could Penny be hiding? Imagine if he was hiding up in the ceiling. He had to be upstairs. So, after looking at what time you had left, you hurried upstairs and began opening doors, now feeling like you were invading privacy. Not in the bathroom, not in Norma's room, not in Mikhail's room, not in Hannah's room, nor his office, not in the attic. But the only room that you haven't checked upstairs was... Looking to your right, you stopped and stiffened up, suddenly growing unbelievably shy. Your room? No. There was no way he'd hide in there. Was there? Would he? Well, there was only one way to find out, especially if you actually wanted to win this intense game. Faking your own ignorance, you grasped your bedroom's doorknob and pushed forwards, opening the door before entering with false egotism. Ha! Better luck next time, Penny, because I've clearly... Boo! I'm so sorry. Pennywise evilly explained, leaping out in front of you and causing you to shriek an insane amount of shock. I don't understand. Why would you? You couldn't comprehend his actions. Your question being taken over by stutters. Mikhail stood protectively in front of you and held out his knife. That was hilarious. Pennywise laughed wickedly, his golden eyes glowing with dark amusement, while he gladly accepted his defeat in a hide and seek. Your face! But you gave yourself away, you pointed out, puzzled. After all, you knew how excited Penny was to play and win, especially because of the free fear prize. True, but it doesn't matter. That was super duper funny. Stopping himself from saying something, the killer clown flashed you another caring smile, now behaving relatively cheerful again. Jeez. Faintly exhaling, you placed a hand on your heart and moved in front of Mikhail, not wanting the stalker to start a fight or take offense to Pennywise's actions. Let's agree to disagree on how funny that really was. Fine. He gave in teasingly, blowing you a smug kiss before following you out of the room fully. I take it that means you've won. That particular round, then? Well, I certainly don't think that means that I've lost. You wryly replied, your words swirling with sarcasm while you headed downstairs and back into the living room. Do you? I suppose not. Penny chuckled, taking a seat next to you after he watched you sit down on the sofa. Wait, isn't it my turn to hide? Don't you want to keep on playing? You asked curiously, the rest of your fear fading, whilst you turned to face him entirely. What, and stand the chance of losing against you a second time? I think you've won for today, sugar. He spoke with affection, his sweet tone of voice causing your eyes to widen in surprise slightly. What the? This wasn't like Penny whatsoever. He was sadistic, sarcastic, sly. He messed around 24/7. He constantly tried to scare you and feed off your fear. He'd almost never act like this towards you, let alone call off a game or admit defeat. Was there something wrong with him today? Had you done something to mess around with his mood? Whatever it was, you weren't complaining. If anything, you were rather grateful for the way he was treating you, especially since it stopped you from feeling lonely for the rest of the afternoon. Still though, hopefully the other two would return home soon, because this oddly particular atmosphere felt unusually bizarre to you. Interesting. Alright, this is a dancing clown's insight. Was she doing this on purpose? Pennywise stared at her with secret curiosity, his golden gaze gleaming while he watched her lean back against the sofa and relaxed after their funny little game of hide and seek. This was ridiculous. What was this? Why couldn't he feel it? Why couldn't he feel his will to feed anymore? Sure, he still felt it from time to time, but that was only towards the kids of Derry now. When he tried it on YN, though, it was a major flop. A total disaster. He just couldn't get it. He didn't understand. Was he becoming less powerful? No way. He was the most powerful creature in the universe. Thinking back to their previous conversations, he began to comprehend, stunned what he was realizing. No, there was just no way. And then this is basically a background of basically their agreement and just memories of them talking. You know, like da-na-na-na. That's the funniest shit ever. But skipping all that. Pennywise, on the other hand, was absolutely amazed with how easily she'd been able to calm down their sudden conflict and gotten them both to listen to her properly. It was strange, to say the least. Strange, although incredibly intriguing. The killer clown couldn't even come up with a quick-witted response, his crafty grin curling into one of a confused frown instead. She'd managed to calm down not only one legendary killer, but two. Just what type of teenage girl was he dealing with here? Then another background with them talking and just conversing. And him being a little flirty, or him asking questions about, is it a human thing, etc., etc., etc. Us basically giving advice, explaining things, etc., etc. If I read that, we'd be here all day. Oh, goodness gracious. This just keeps going on. And then some arguments with Hannibal, and then you know, us defending him. Just memories that if I read, we'd be here forever. But it's just basically of all the times we talked with him, that's just basic. Shy, then him trying to understand how we were, and then, let's see. And then this is just a particular chapter where he's like, why was he feeling like this over a mere human girl? They're just overthinking their whole thing together. So, and then now I'm pretty sure, yep, he's thinking about, you know, the past of now currently, where they would talk about hide and seek, and then, yeah. Anyways, back now currently in time. Penny, is something bothering you? Stopping him sharply out of his thoughts, the clown stopped reminiscing and instead paid attention to her sheer-sounded worry. Her anxious voice and gentle concern causing him to grow puzzled. You're okay, aren't you? Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Pennywise inquired curiously, confused by why she suddenly wanted to know. It's not like anything's happened within these past few minutes. I know. It's just that you looked a little lost for a couple minutes there, Ryan explained with a slightly troubled tone. Shooting the clownish slasher another one of her soft-hearted smiles straight after she'd replied to him. Lost? He blankly repeated, still not understanding her words, as he decided to tilt his head to the side in bemusement. What are you talking about? Let me explain more easily. Placing a hand delicately on top of his, the etc. haired girl's shoulders relaxed, her empathetic emotions messing with Pennywise even further. Feeling lost usually means that you're either feeling or looking hopeless, dazed, or distracted. That a better description? Yeah, it is, but thanks. But no thanks. Pennywise mockingly taunted, glossing over his feelings with another one of his twisted grins as he pretended to act the same way he always did. Appreciate the sentimental explanation, sweetheart, but I would never feel something as pathetic as lost. It's not something that makes people appear weak or pathetic. Wine sighed, shaking her head at his sharp-tongued answer, as if clearly expecting how he'd respond. It's just an emotion, Penny. Nothing more, nothing less. Sure. Throwing her a smirk, he stood up with her and rested his hands on either side of her waist, his sadistic enjoyment sparkling after he'd seen her grow so surprised. Maybe for you, but for me. What are you doing? She asked in alarm, obviously panicking at how the stalker would react to his behavior. What's the matter? You've been acting strange all afternoon and nothing the matter per se. The clown hummed creepily, his golden eyes glinting with devilish intent while he gave her waist a seductive squeeze. I just really like you. That's all. I just really, really, really like you. I think that's more than like, buddy, but okay. Alright, everyone, we is in chapter 57, Unknown Caller. Penny-eyed, do you like me? Pennywise interjected innocently, interrupting your stammering and forcing you to think about said question. Like Pennywise? You hadn't really thought about it. Yeah, you'd had fun playing hide and seek with him today, and walking to and from your daily university classes with him was pleasant enough, but like him? You've only made that deal with Penny back then in order to protect your partners. Still, though, a heavy shade of pink painted your cheeks, your heartbeat increasing by the second as Penny placed his hands on either side of your waist and confessed how he was discreetly feeling. Hell, you didn't even know a creature like him could care for someone else. Besides, you were undoubtedly relieved that he didn't feel the need to feast on your flesh anymore, like he'd previously mentioned down in the sewers on Tuesday. He was fun, sharp-tongued, mysterious, definitely entertaining to be around and spend time with. These last couple of days, he'd even been kinder to you, treating you with almost the same amount of high respect that Hannibal usually sent. It was actually sweet in a way, as if he'd secretly been trying to show off his adoration for you in a somehow offhanded manner. But did you return Pennywise's affections? Did you really care for him the same way he cared for you? Resting both of your hands on top of his shoulders, you cleared your throat and made a mature decision, praying that you wouldn't hurt his feelings. And that's where we fuck up. Penny, I like you. Really, I do. You're amusing, you're quick-witted, and you're kind-hearted. You let me live back when you could have killed me in the sewers. You became my friend, spending great time with me. You saved me from Mikael's swing against Jason and Crystal Lake when I could have really easily gotten her, and for that I truly am grateful. You confessed softly, giving his shoulders a gentle squeeze of your own before you continuing. But I've only known you for a few days, since Tuesday to be precise, and although I deeply care for you, I think I need a bit more time before I can come to a final conclusion. For a few minutes Penny was silent, soaking in your answer like he was sinking it in. Then a smug smile slid across his facial features, his attitude switching back to his usual bad boyish behavior. I can accept that, for now. He retaliated casually, using one of his hands to break the waist holding and cradle the side of your cheek instead. But just so you know, you won't easily escape me that easily. My sweet, sweet YN. Hold on, escape you? What was that supposed to... Before you could properly finish your question, Pennywise disappeared from sight, leaving the room altogether, as he simply left you and Mikael alone. Mean. It means that he's feeling butthurt. He loves you like we do, but he won't show it because he has too much pride. Much like Kruger with his stupid lack of brain cells. Stop making me laugh. Mikhail scribbled down unfeelingly, passing his notepad over to you without any hesitation whatsoever. Mikhail. You sighed his name in disappointment, already used to his cold-hearted attitude while you handed it back to him. After all, the white masked male couldn't exactly be classed as the emotional or sensitive type. I didn't exactly shut him down. I just need more time to think things over. Why? He doesn't deserve to even speak to you, let alone date you. You're mine. Why, and remember that. Mikhail's next message made you roll your eyes and shake your head, wishing that he wouldn't take out his obsession on every other male around. But that just wasn't possible, and you knew that already. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Be right back, you pleasantly told him, shooting him a friendly smile while you walked into the hallway and left the living room. Though, as you entered the hallway, your phone rang, causing you to grow curious and pull it out from your pocket. It was an unknown number. It was rare that you got those. Should you hang up on it? After all, it was probably a scam, or someone trying to sell you something suspicious. But there was also a possibility that someone was trying to call someone else, and that they've actually gotten your phone number instead. Yeah, you shouldn't hang up on it. You should at least find out who was calling. Then, if it was a scammer or seller, you could just block the number and continue the rest of your afternoon with Mikhail. So, once you took in a deep breath, you answered, trying your hardest to sound civilized. Hello? Hello. And an unknown voice greeted in return, silence falling between you both seconds after the quiet reply you received. Yes, is there something perhaps I can help you with? You politely wondered, relaxing a bit due to realizing that this person didn't seem to be a scammer of any sort. Who is this? They inquired distantly, ignoring your response while they asked their own question. Who are you trying to reach? You asked respectfully, leaning against the hallway and staring ahead of you, towards the stairs. What number is this? They dismissively carried on, sounding impatient as they awaited your answer. Well, what number are you trying to call? You helpfully questioned, your curiosity growing while you attempted to be kind. If you could repeat it to me, I can gladly tell you if this is it or not. I don't know. They interrupted you suddenly. Still, they're using their reserved tone to interact with you. But didn't you just ring said number? You pointed out in bewilderment, frowning at the floor and not understanding the unknown person's logic. I don't know. They repeated with a monotone voice. The same awkward silence from before forming. I'm terribly sorry, but I think you might have the wrong number. Breaking the silence, you gently apologized, pushing yourself away from the hallway wall and deciding to wrap this whole misunderstanding up. Do I? They mused thoughtfully, their curious change of tone taking you by surprise and making you even feel more uneasy. Don't worry, it could happen to anyone. You warmly answered, not wanting to appear rude or impolite in any way. Take it easy out there. And with that, you tucked your phone back into your pocket, heading upstairs to use the bathroom as you pushed the unknown caller to the back of your mind. Sure, they might have made you a little uncomfortable, but it was probably accidental. Especially since they were speaking to someone they didn't know, and that they've also messed up calling a new number for the very first time. Right. Besides, it wasn't important. But once you've used the bathroom, you hurriedly made your way back downstairs and into the hallway again, noticing who had just made their way home. Why, and you're back! Norman bursted out brightly, bounding through the hallway and shoving past the psychiatrist with no consideration. Welcome home! I should be the one saying that to you. You lightly laughed, wrapping your arms around Norman after witnessing him flinging his arms wildly around you. Well, it's just you weren't here earlier, he responded nervously, shifting from foot to foot while struggling to explain. I understand, but at least let me say it, you teased playfully. Oh, sorry, it's a little dark, but we got this. You teased him playfully, breaking the hug so you could poke this side of his cheek. Okay, I will, Norman shyly promised, acting like his usual flustered self, whilst smiling at the cheek poke. Yep, Norman was still the same. Of course he is. Alright, y'all, so who do you think is calling us? Who do you think is calling us do you think is the unwanted admirers, y'all? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, why was, if I can remember their names correctly, Billy and Stu looking at particularly Mikael and Pennywise? How did they know what they were looking at? Were they just looking somewhere where Ryan walked off, or were they actually looking at both of them? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know. Because if they were looking at them, then they probably knew that Ryan was right there. So, I don't know. I mean, they're humans. They don't have, like, supervision or something. But, I mean, you guys let me know your opinions. Not going to give mine because I already knew the answer. But, anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this. However, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. I'm sorry I wasn't able to read the Pennywise, Dancing Clouds, like, personal thoughts or whatever. But I really didn't want to go rereading through the whole thing because it probably would have taken me much longer than than you guys think it would have. Also, I could have just shortened it by a lot. But it's basically like all of them all of the times they converse. All of the times just group up into one area. You know, think of it as this when you're talking like to your crush or something. You're like, oh my god, look at all the times they talk to me, asking me for a pencil. You know, like. Anyways, your girl said they gotta cut this short. I shall see y'all guys in the next futuristic video. Bye and peace, y'all.